What's going on, guys? Today it's gonna be a sad day. Insert sad music here. I think it's gonna be time we have to pull the engine out of the Camaro. We've known about problems inside the engine for a while now. The issue is that we never really knew what that engine was to begin with. It came with the car, everything else. Not really sure why it's acting the way it is. I've done several things, tried taking the dipstick tube out, not the dipstick tube, the pickup tube out, making sure the O-ring is seated, all that kind of stuff, taking a general look around underneath, and haven't found things that I've been too happy about. I knew about this going into the weekend, but I figured Junkyard LS can make probably one last hurrah. I want to show you guys here. This is a data log from a pass I made on Saturday, right? And we have probably a peak of 34 pounds of oil pressure, dropping all the way to, when I let out and everything else, 7 pounds of oil pressure, dips all the way down to, hold on, 5 pounds of oil pressure. As you guys can see from boost, we never really went 10.9. Yeah, we made about 10 pounds, 11 pounds of boost. We didn't do much more than that throughout the whole weekend, just trying to get this thing figured out. There's quite a few things we've been trying to sort in the log. I know some people have noticed here, I'll highlight it here, that this line here is the RPM. That's actually a little too zoomed in to get a good idea of what's going on. But here, we're on the trans brake. We let go of the trans brake, and it does this wavy pattern here, and lugs down and then takes off. Now, it's been doing that for a while. Right in here, you guys can see that red line. No, it's not red when I highlight it, but we're not exactly sure why it's doing that. We're not exactly sure what's unhappy. Trying to figure it out. You know, is it a fuel issue? Is it a timing issue? I mean, target AFRs and actual AFRs are right on target. You know, ignition timing is relatively safe for what we've got going on with fuel and boost levels and everything else, but we still haven't really leaned on it, knowing that this engine is a stock head block or a stock head bolt engine that is unknown to us. We have no idea what the internals are. Well, I know it's stock bottom end. I've seen the rods and pistons and whatnot, but just not knowing any of the history of it, we haven't been able to really lean on this thing the way that I would like to. Or I mean, we're not even there yet. We had the first race Saturday. The new game plan is going to be, I had built an engine for turbo for the Nova. It's in here now. It's got good head studs. It's got gaskets. It's got, you know, push rods, springs, cam, a better oil pump, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get this thing fired up. I'm going to check the oil pressure on this. And if this thing checks out with oil pressure that I'm happy with, we're going to go ahead and yank this out and swap it for the one in the Camaro. Put this one in the Camaro. That other one is just probably going to become parts at that point. The other part of the game plan is Thursday night at the local track. They're doing prepped racing, but they've got a stock block shootout, and not really interested in the shootout itself. More so, I just want to get down there and continue to make passes on the car. There's a lot of stuff about chassis and tuning and everything that we learned over the weekend, and there's stuff that I want to try. There's other things that I want to attempt to do. I want to see if maybe I can get them front shocks on and see how much of a difference that can make in controlling the shock, because we had no control of the shocks over the weekend. So we've got quite a few things to do, but I want to get the other engine in, get it fired up, check it out, make sure everything works, everything is looking good to go. Maybe we'll test it on the street before we go down to the track or not. I'm not sure yet. Just going to be a matter of how much time we've got and how long it takes to do some of this stuff. So let's get to work. Thank you very much. we got the engine out in record time, thanks to a little movie magic. One benefit of this thing being the setup that it was, carbureted, LS, it's been in and out 50 million times. It comes out really super quick. So now we're gonna hang up this transmission so it can sit in place, and hang up the starter and zip tie a few things, all that kind of stuff. Throw the hood back on it, and we'll get this one out of the garage, and then we'll bring the other one in. Engine, for the most part, looks pretty good. I'm gonna pull the plugs out of it and everything, and check that as well before we go ahead and start, you know, swapping everything on over. And I've never taken the engine out of the Camaro, so that one might take us a little bit longer. There's more stuff attached. There's turbos, there's lines, there's all this other kind of crap. And like I said, we've never taken it out, so I don't know the quickest, easiest steps to get it done. But with as quickly as this one came out, if we can get at least the other one pulled today, I gotta start swapping parts over. Like, there's parts that gotta go from one engine to the other, back and forth a little bit, boom, boom, boom. But we should be able to have it, I would say, running again by tomorrow. I don't see any reason why not. What do you think? See, Joey said it'll be done tomorrow. Problem solved. All right, let's zip tie all this stuff up, and then the shuffle itself of moving the cars around is probably going to take longer.
That's what I was thinking about in my head.
Longer than it took to get this engine out. So let's get it done, and then get this turbo engine finally in a turbo car. Pro mod things, we got it kind of sorted out. First time swapping, you know, we're taking this engine out, so just a couple little things we didn't know, had to move around, this, that, and the other, what actually had to come off, what didn't have to come off, all that kind of stuff. But now we got it off, it's out. So I'm gonna work on starting to get everything swapped over to the other one, so then that way we can set it back in place, hook it all up. What are you mad about, baby? Come talk to us. How's that water heater going? How's that water heater going?
The look on her face was perfect.
She's ready to come here, yell about something. Oh man. So she's having a rough time in there. I guess I'll go help her out. But yeah, I'll probably send the boys home for the night. I'll work a little bit longer on getting everything swapped over, all that kind of stuff, so we can get it in tomorrow. I'd like to get it in tomorrow, fire it up, maybe possibly take it down the street, that kind of stuff. Just give it a check, a once over, make sure everything's good to go. So we should be back up and running, I think, another day or so. And as of right now, pending there's no issues with that engine and it going in there, we'll be racing Thursday. So let's keep cracking, get to racing. Little bit of trouble with the mid plate and all that kind of stuff, but just figuring out. It's also the first time we've taken it in and out. Interesting news, that engine that was in there had some stuff that I didn't know about. We had seen the springs, so I saw those. It actually has chromoly push rods in it, but they're 7.475, which factory push rod length on an LS is 7.4. This has 7.4 chromoly push rods. So I'm not sure if they ever checked piston valve, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But then we also found that the cam that was in there was like a custom grind cam, not a sloppy stage 2 like I had thought. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. It stinks because had it had head studs, it looks like it's got some decent parts in it and could probably be a little, pretty good motor if it had oil pressure, but it doesn't have that either. So we're gonna get this thing all tightened down and finished up, start bolting everything to it. I mean, we could literally, now at this point, we could be a couple hours from first fire up on this thing. There's some stuff I got to change on the tune. Also, knowing that the cam is different than what I thought it was, some tune information is going to change too, now that we actually have the correct information for the cam. So fueling is going to be a little bit better. I think there's going to be a couple things that are going to be a little easier. We didn't swap the oil pan because race car, I can get to the oil pan underneath. We were getting to a position where I didn't have an engine hoist. We would have to lift one up, drop the pan to lift the other one, and go back and forth a million times. So we just came up with the idea of, why don't we just put it in the car with the wrong oil pan, and since the oil pan we can do just right from underneath, it just drops right out, we'll go ahead and swap the oil pan. So we still have to swap the oil pan, obviously have to tighten everything up, plug everything in, double check a bunch of stuff, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're like I said, a few hours ish away from fire up. All right, we have been busting ass for days, swapping engines out, and finally I think everything's hooked up enough to the point where we can go ahead and try to fire this thing up. It's pretty late, so I'm not going to run it too long. If it fires up, I'll let it idle a little bit. I know we still got to change some of the tune-up stuff for the cam and everything else, but we'll see if this thing will just even fire up and run a little bit. 50 pounds of oil pressure at idle. That's a solid motor.
What was it at previous idle?
Previous, so when it was hot, it would be down to like 16, 17. When you first fired it up cold, it was like 20. So we've got 30 pounds of oil pressure difference. Like that is, Derek's gonna be happy to know we can turn oil pressure safeties back on. Like I'm over the weekend and we were just like, oil pressure, if it pans out, if it checks out, it's gonna have to really check out to shut this thing off because we want to go racing. But man, kick ass work.
Bad hand.
Soft hand, yeah, soft hand. Man, I heard there's a stock block shootout tomorrow at Del Mar. So that's good stuff. That's really good stuff right there. You know, obviously I still got to hook up the cold side, and what I'll probably do, this is gonna suck. You're gonna have to be over here early tomorrow because we're gonna have to get on it early, put some heat in it, nut and bolt check, leak check. You know what I mean? Do all that kind of stuff. Hook up the cold side, everything, load it on a trailer, get down to Del Mar to make the stock block shootout tomorrow. But
Did it?
sounds pretty good too. I ain't mad at it.
Nope.
Oh, and I gotta fix the headlight thing. There's some stuff that still needs to be done. But man, 50 pounds of oil pressure is insane. Like, that's what it should be. And judging by what we saw come out of that pan, we were eating some bearings. We were on borrowed time. I probably would not have, if I go rounds at all at the stock block shootout tomorrow, it probably would have caused us an issue. But this thing sounds good, sounds healthy. Really sounds a lot better than I thought it was going to. Man, I'm super pumped. We did it. 48-hour turnaround, almost. If we really had to, we would stay up all night tonight, cranking this thing out. But I'm gonna do some more tonight, and man, it feels good. It feels good to have a new engine in here and not have to worry about it. You know, don't get me wrong. We still a junkyard engine. We still don't know a whole lot about it, other than I put it together for turbo and the Nova. But alternator was charging good. 50 pounds of oil pressure. I mean, everything is checking out. That was no change to the tune at all. So I know we still got to do some of that stuff, but we'll get it figured out. I'll get on the horn with Derek. Slower than you. I was wearing a shirt yesterday. Derek, you're up. You're in. Tag team. Now I got to get the cam card. I got to ask him because I can probably do some of that stuff myself, and then just see what he wants to do as far as changes being made. But yeah, super pumped. We're going to the stock block shootout, baby. Hey, if you rub your face on that, people are gonna hear it. It's the microphone.
Dude, I had a bug.
Oh my god.
Fucking the shit out of me.
I've been wondering why when I'm editing these videos, I just hear like. What is that sound? What is happening?
Yeah,
it's Nick rubbing his face against the damn camera microphone. Goodness, sorry everybody at home watching this video that thought they were gonna get something good out of it. But yep, get the cold side hooked up. This one here, we're not gonna baby. This one, has head studs. It's got a bunch of good parts. I'm gonna turn the. I'm gonna go ahead and turn up the rev limiter so we can stop bouncing it off the limiter. I know everybody was mad about that, but look, you guys gotta cut me some slack here. We're learning the car. We're trying to do 10 million different things. Trying to throw an event, everything. Trying to make it go down the surface we got, and. Unfortunately, I didn't get to change the shocks out before tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. It's prep track stuff. It should be a good surface, so I think we'll be all right. But tomorrow, stock block shootout time. Let's see. You know what I mean? We'll get some test passes in. Maybe we can go a round or two. Would be wonderful. Even if we don't, we'll still get some testing in. We'll get it all figured out. We'll make sure everything's running like it's supposed to be, and huge sigh of relief. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I appreciate you tuning in. I don't even know what kind of footage we got of this, if it's good. I don't know that I did a whole lot of talking, explaining what was going on. We were just trying to get to work You know, just we had to get it done. So I appreciate you guys as always, man. Y'all the best. Let's get it. Let's see if we can get another good video out of going to the stock box shootout tomorrow, and hopefully hurt some feelings other than my own. Would be the best. So I'll catch you guys next time.